How you doing, everybody? This is Doc Stull, and this is Sports Today and In the Day. Because sport is rhythm, and rhythm is sport. It's a backhand stab of a worm burner grounder behind third base, followed by a get-to-your-feet frozen rope throw to first to nail the runner. It's a pump fake, get him in the air, turn-around jumper from the baseline. It's a left hook body shot off your back leg that stops the heavy bag, no vibration on the chain. Because sport is rhythm, and rhythm is sport. It's playing with movement melodies over your heartbeat. It's stepping inside your opponent's sense of time. It's the secrets of space and the paradox of pace on the playing field. It's will, it's strategy, it's innovation and kinetic chords. It's your own song, your own sentient, sensuous symphony.
All right, here we are. This is Doc Stull live at Blondie's at the end of L.K. Wood and California Street in Arcata, California, next to the beautiful campus of Humboldt State University. And I'm here with Arcata Andrew and cool as a cucumber Cole Kirchner. We're going to be following up our last discussion on the great female warriors. We talked a little bit about ancient Sparta and how the Spartans were really the ultimate warrior society, a society we really haven't seen actually until the 1930s, when Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany in 1933 and modeled the Nazi Party and the physical training on the model of the ancient Spartans. But today we're going to be talking about women warriors, and with me I have cool as a cucumber Cole Kirchner to talk a little bit about Greek myth and the myth of the Amazons.
Thanks, Doc. We're all familiar with the legend of the Amazon warrior women. Amazon is usually derived from A and Mazon, which literally means without breasts, which is a reference to part of the legend that has it that they would remove one of their breasts to make shooting a bow and arrow much easier in battle. The thing with the Amazons is that it's not entirely clear whether they are a reference to an actual group of women that existed in history or are merely stories of legend. I think we're all familiar with Xena the warrior princess, who herself was an Amazon, and well, we know how much butt she kicked. There's speculation that the legend of the Amazons was derived from a group of armed priestesses who lived in Ephesus, who would actually have battles to the death in order to attain the rank of high priestess. But at any rate, the evidence is not entirely clear. My personal expertise doesn't extend very far beyond that show Xena the warrior princess. So, Doc, I have to ask you if there's any truth to the claims of ancient women warriors.
Let's go back actually to what we do know about ancient Sparta, because it was Sparta where there was a systematic training of women to be warriors and women to bear healthy children. All of you are familiar with the Iliad, if you saw the movie Troy, and the reason that Troy and the entire Trojan War started was because King Menelaus' wife Helen, who was the most beautiful woman in the world, there's a great poem that said, "Was this the face that launched 1,000 ships?" was kidnapped by Paris, and Menelaus and a group of city-state kings, of course, invaded Troy, a battle that lasted 10 years. Helen, however, being a Spartan woman, would have been trained as Spartan women were. She would have had to wrestled, thrown the javelin, had a strict training regimen, and so not only was she the most beautiful woman in the world, but most people, even classicists, leave out the fact that she was probably one of the most physically fit and athletic women in the world. One of the interesting things is that we do know that there were actual female gladiators in the time of the Roman Empire, and a recent excavation in London revealed a female gladiator in the type of armament that would have been used in a chariot race. So we don't know. It's a fascinating myth, but in fact, there have been great female combatants throughout history, and we're going to take a break now and talk to Arcata Andrew about the Victorian age and female combatants there.
Thanks, Doc. In accordance to Sparta, the Victorian age had a lot of women who were very mentally tough. And to put yourself in a position of what they were, they had very little to lose. And in many instances, they were treated as prostitutes. They were lower class women who had nothing. Their position in the society was as if there was no way out. But what's imaginable is the fact that the female boxers they felt as much pride as men of today, as men of Sparta, as women of Sparta. They had that prowess, that type of goddess mentality of you have to be the best and there's no shame in who you are.
Women combatants in the Victorian era, of course, at a time when women didn't have political, economic freedom or sexual freedom, there was a certain group of women who were combatants, and as Andrew referred to, they saw their way out as doing something that was highly entertaining but highly risky. They did have a sense of pride in what they did, though, and they had to do, they basically had nowhere to go. Society didn't offer them an opportunity. And so they saw this kind of carnival circus atmosphere as a way of proving themselves. And so they would fight often shirtless and fight in front of huge mobs. And again, it was sexploitation and exploitation. But at the same time, there is this tradition of female combatants that did exist. Doc Stull back here at Blondie's. Here to Andrew, he's got to take off, but we were just discussing on the break about the difference between Spartan society, which revered women and their beauty and athletic prowess for the good and future of the state, versus women combatants in the Victorian era.
Much like women combatants in Sparta, in the Victorian era, they were just as brutal. They had boxing fights, and at the time were bloody, bare-knuckled contests fought to the end among mostly working-class women, and were thought to be naturally tougher and more brutish than the delicate and docile Victorian ladies. Sometimes female boxers were even stripped to the waist, as we were alluding to earlier with being naked, and just the sight of a vampish, aggressive woman, sweaty, bloody, bare-fisted, bare-breasted, provided an exciting display of animality and passion.
What we do know about Spartan women is that Spartan women not only were encouraged to be athletic, to be physically strong, and to bear strong children, there was also no adultery in Sparta. The Spartan women were actually encouraged to go out and seek other male lovers in order to perpetuate more Spartan warriors. This is a highly unusual social phenomenon. Even in this year of 2010, I can't really think of anything that compares to possibly that kind of fear, where your wife was encouraged to look for a man that had more physical prowess than you. The Spartans did practice male infanticide, and so they would actually take their babies, male babies, to see if they were tough enough, and they would leave them as unclothed infants on the hills of Sparta for nights on a time. And if they were hardy enough to survive, they were hardy enough to be warriors. We've had a tremendous discussion about women warriors. I'd like to read a poem about Camilla, Queen of the Volscians. Amid the carnage, like an Amazon, Camilla rode exultant, one breast bared. For fighting ease, her quiver at her back. At times she flung slim javelins, thick and fast. From the Aeneid, 11th chapter. Doc Stull here with Sports Today and In the Day. Next week, we'll be doing a profile of the first African-American heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson, when Muhammad Ali saw the portrayal of Jack Johnson in Howard Sackler's film The Great White Hope in 1967 and said, "Jack Johnson was me before there was me." Check it out next week.